enjoy the evening. You're in for a treat.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I'm going to plug this in, class.
Yep.
So, a couple things. I got a cold last week, and I've got like a little nagging throat thing, which is only an issue if you want to sleep or sing. But it was kind of a little bit of a deliverance because I got a cold. It wasn't the plague. It's kind of reassuring that way. So, last month, my father died. And I was close to him. Even he lived to be 87. It was a long and it was a charmed life. And when I was going through the songs to put on a playlist, I kind of realized how many of my songs were either motivated by or somehow or directly about my father. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to let you know about him. Okay? So he was 6 foot tall, blue eyes, athletic. But he was a man of his age. So he got out of high school, got an apprentice job at IBM, went in the military, and got married at 20. By 21, he had his first kid. I think by 24, 25, he had 3 kids. In the 50s, he just grew up faster. And he grew up very modest means. His dad wasn't around. His mom and his grandparents raised him and 2 siblings in a tiny house. He once told me that the first time he had his own bedroom was when he got divorced from my mother. So the first song is, for him, it was important. He wanted that 1960s, 1970s suburban dream. And he gave that to us. We lived in a house that he built, or had built, in a suburb of Denver. And we had a yard, and we had a little above-ground pool, and there were kids everywhere. Every house had kids, and we kind of ruled the neighborhoods, and he was the guy who was at the barbecue. He was wrestling with the kids in the yard, telling dad jokes before dad jokes was actually a thing. So the first song is about that life. He said, what did you do when you were young? No computer games, not even one. Sounds like you never had any fun there on Monterey. I said the kitchen phone had a long cord that I tried to untangle when I got bored. Put down his tools on the baseboard there on Monterey. We had Gilligan's Island and a black and white and a honeysuckle on a street light. Backyard campsite there on Monterey. There on Monterey. All summer long and every day. We always found a way to play. Well, after chores and meet on the street, full baseball, basketball, and hide and go seek. Those new toys are now antique there on Monterey. Then after dinner we'd rule those streets, just a whole mess of kids in bare feet. Streetlights on and the home we flee there on Monterey. Behind the house was a little creek and a fold up in the top of the tree, catching crawdads and being free there on Monterey. There on Monterey. All summer long and every day. We always found a way to play. Road Eagle Knievel on our t-shirts, jump bikes over ramps into the dirt. Higher and tire and someone got hurt there on Monterey. My buddy Ricky and my buddy Joe would get on our bikes and off we'd go. Never slow there on Monterey. Puberty appeared with 2 little whiskers we call beards. Things got a little weird there on Monterey. There on Monterey. All summer long and every day. We always found a way to play. Yeah, there on Monterey. to play. Thank you. You can have fun without video games. So, life went on, and, getting married young, sometimes couples, they run out of, I guess, that newness, and they get married so young they don't have a lot of experiences. My parents started to fight. They started to fight a lot when I was a teenager. Not untypical, not, of course, ideal. At the time I was young, and my sister, who was old enough to have a driver's license, would take me out to the 50-cent movies in Denver. That was during the original Rocky Horror Picture Show times and all that. But it was a little more uncomfortable around the house. So, and this song isn't particularly directly about that, but I think since usually most songwriters sing something about personal experience, there's some of that in this song. Well, I'm sitting on my porch playing my guitar when Jimmy goes running by. He had on swimming goggles and an old beach towel and his arms stretched way out wide. Well, he'd run around making airplane noise until he just couldn't run anymore. Then he'd land on my porch and tell me about his trips to distant shores. Well, he was feeding pigeons at the Eiffel Tower or walking through the Taj Mahal. Beware of the buffalo in Tanzania, but the lions don't scare him at all. He said Atlantic storms can get pretty wild, but he knew how to get through. From you will lead an airplane, so stay away no matter what you do. But who am I to say what's real and what's a lie? Who am I to say Jimmy can't fly? Well, I'm back on my porch playing my guitar, but now I'm on the alert. I hear Jimmy's folks are fighting with the windows wide open, throwing woods and bent to hurt. I hear the screen door slam, hear the engine fire up, and I know that he's about to fly. Then I close my eyes and picture little Jimmy way up in the sky. He said he likes to be in the sky, where he can see it all. And the houses and the people and all of his troubles seem really, really small. He said he visited an island where they had no word for fight. Everybody just loved each other, man, it was a beautiful sight. But who am I to say what's real and what's a lie? Who am I to say Jimmy can't fly? 'Cause if you only knew, well, you'd say that he flew too. If you only knew Jimmy, you'd say Jimmy can fly. Well, I'm lying in bed trying to sleep, and I'm thinking about my aches and pains. Thinking about Jimmy and his magic time, well, it makes me smile again. I want to take my next vacation in that big old imagination, and maybe have a crack at some personal aviation. But who am I to say what's real and what's a lie? Who am I to say Jimmy can't fly? 'Cause I've seen Jimmy, I've seen him try, and I think Jimmy, he's gonna fly.
Yeah.
So as you can probably guess, and if you don't even know my dad, the next thing that happened was a divorce. Some painful years later, my folks split up, and in some ways it was really hard on my dad because it separated him from his family. He was no longer in the house with the kids, even though we were all getting older. But he went to extraordinary measures to make sure he was there, make sure he was close. We still maintained a great relationship. And in a lot of ways, after the noise and the hostility of the fighting, having them apart was peaceful. And they both had a chance to move on with their new life. So this song is probably the most, it's just really not about my parents, but it's about divorce, and everybody has a divorce song, right? Listen. She got the house, she got the car, she got my favorite stool and my favorite bar, but it's alright. Yeah, it's okay. You know I kind of like it this way. Yeah, I did my time and I paid my dues. When she left me, she left with my blues. You and me made it sound like two cats in a bag being thrown around. Every day was stormy weather. Why, oh why were we ever together? Well, I did my time and I paid my dues. She left me, she left with my blues. Once we were desire, we really set those sheets on fire. When the smoke cleared, it was clear there was nothing here. Well, I did my time and I paid my dues. When she left me, she left with my blues. Well, you confused love and lust. Sooner or later it all goes bust. You learn to throw, and I learn to duck. We fought with the same passion that we used to cook. Well, I did my time and I paid my dues. When she left me, she left with my blues. You look happy, you look good. When I see you walking round in the neighborhood, I think, ooh, give it a shot. Then I remember how hard it was to untie that knot. Well, I did my time and I paid my dues. When she left me, she left with my blues. She got the house, she got the car, she got my favorite stool and my favorite bar, and it's alright. Yes, okay. You know I kind of like it this way. Well, I did my time and I paid my dues. When she left me, she left with my blues. Yeah, I did my time and I paid my dues. When she left me, she left with my blues. When she left me, she left with my blues. So, this is about the time when I became a moving target. I was going to school, and first I went off to a little junior college because the only thing I liked to study in high school usually came in a skirt, and didn't really have my GPA very much. So I went off to a junior college, and then I went off to a four-year school, and all the time I was taking time off to work to make money, and then I graduated college, and I moved to New Zealand for a couple of years. And now, people in New Zealand and Australia, they do these walkabouts. They used to back in the 80s, where they would take off for 2 years and they backpack through Asia, and they get to London and they work as a bartender to make money to get back home through the US. So I thought, well, that sounds like a good idea. So I did that. My dad never really understood it. He did come see me in New Zealand. He liked New Zealand, but he never really understood this traveling. Why would I travel when I could be golfing? Well, I was living in New Zealand back in '84. They all talked about this big world tour, so I packed up my bags and headed out the door, backpacking around the world with my Lonely Planet and my red guitar. 2 months hitching around Australia, Indonesia didn't seem that far, backpacking around the world. I was climbing volcanoes, drinking whiskey on a midnight train, Black Market Burma, the Annapurna circuses then. Well, I had the fire and I had the hunger to see the world when I was younger. Well, it's hard to say what I liked best. Playing Indiana Jones without a lover's caress. There was romance, adventure, intestinal distress, backpacking around the world. Then it was like I never left, I went to work and I saved some dough, 'cause as soon as I was home I was ready to go. shouldn't stay at home. Says it just ain't right for a man to roam. But it ain't like I'm a hurting nobody. It ain't like it's a sin. Every time I look at a map, all I can see are places I haven't been. Well, I sold my guitar, gave my career a shot. There were jobs to get and houses bought. Life was good, but I was not backpacking around the world. Well, we're still on the road, my wife and me. Maybe I'm a little bit OCD, there's just so much more I still want to see backpacking around the world. But it costs a lot more now. No more sleeping in the dormitory, and it's still an adventure. But now I pack my romance with me. Yeah, I have the fire and I have the hunger to see the world like when I was younger. And Daddy still don't understand it. Thinks I shouldn't stay at home. Says it just ain't right for a man to roam. It ain't like I'm a hurting nobody. It ain't like it's a sin. Every time I look at a map, all I can see are places I have. All I can see are places I have. All I can see are places I haven't been. Thank you. So when I took off, it was supposed to be a 9-month trip. And my first 2 months were in Australia, and that's where I met my wife. I made the trip worth it right there, let me tell you. And when this was before the days of email and internet and all that. So I was a few months into the trip and I started communicating with my dad's second wife. My dad was going to turn 50, and she thought it'd be really great if I could come home early and surprise us for his 50th birthday party. So it's like it's taking like 2 months off of my trip, but it was a pretty long trip, right? So when I was thinking about this, I first I was in Kathmandu, and I was one of the places where I got the post at the General Post Office. So this is one of the few songs, I wrote this song there, and this is one of the few songs from my early songwriting, because I listened to it, most of it kind of sounds like, whiny, adolescent, lonely stuff, and I really don't, it's not the kind of stuff that I really want to play around anymore, so. I remember now, it's been a long time. Well, I'm sitting in a dingy hotel room, Freak Street in Kathmandu, thinking about my family, oh, what's a golden boy to do? 10,000 miles from home now, that's 20 hours on a jet plane. It's been 2.5 years since I've seen my home, things can't be the same. I think about my sisters all the time, when I'm down to help me to recover. Kathy's making babies I've never seen. She's gone from wild girl to loving mother. Norma's a career girl, so it seems, flying up the company ladder. But I bet King Tutty's just the same, a little gray, but that doesn't matter. When I close my eyes, I can see my old man, surrounded by laughing grandchildren, watching his football, playing some golf, maybe working in the basement. Never tell him that I love him near enough. There's always something that's got to be done. Now my old man's birthday is coming up. He's gonna be 50 years young. And this year's song is just for him, to let him know how much I care. I love him when he's old and wrinkled. I love him when he's got no hair. You know I can't live without my family. One of these things I've learned. I just want to say happy birthday, Dad. Many happy returns. Sorry. Just want to say happy birthday, Dad. Many happy returns. That song is so old that when I wrote it, I thought 50 was old. So, Dad, he had a second wife, ended up getting divorced again. Then he had another kind of wife, but they signed papers saying they weren't husband and wife. They were quite a bit older. Younger woman. She was young and healthy. Dad was having heart issues. And then she got breast cancer and died. And it happened very quickly. And it was a very turbulent time. My dad is someone, he always has been someone who loves completely and deeply. It was very hard on him. And I saw how he went through it. I think divorces are tough, but I think losing someone like that suddenly is harder. And now he eventually got another girlfriend. Those blue eyes he had still worked, and he pursued the heart of an older woman, and won. And so my dad, at like 84, had a cougar. I didn't get those blue eyes. Summer, if I can make it through the day, well, surely you'll melt my blues away. And I can still hear you say, it's gonna be okay. How many raindrops make a storm? How many teardrops make a flood? When the heart tears open, where do the stars go? Only the night sky knows. Yes, summer, if I can make it through the day, well, surely you'll melt my blues away. And I can still hear you say, it's gonna be okay. I see you there, just eyes and bones and skin. I can't help feeling like you're paying for my sins. I look into your eyes and all I see is you, worried about me. Left me to live this life alone. You left me the greatest love I'll ever know. You left me, but you left me a better man. Yes, summer, if I can make it through the day, well, surely you'll melt my blues away. And I can still hear you say, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. So, my dad had health issues, and by the time he was my age, he already had a triple bypass surgery. He had 4 primary cancers, and none of them killed him. Really a pretty blessed life. But a couple of years ago, he had an incident. He was taken on, his kidneys weren't working, his heart wasn't working. Went into the hospital. My wife and I spent a week with him, and I wrote 2 songs. At least started 2 songs when I was there at the hospital, because you're usually waiting around for doctors. I mean, the nurses are around, they're great, they're wonderful. I wrote one of the songs is about nurses, and I married one too, so it's a good move on my part. Here's to nurses. So, but one thing I found being in the hospital is he, everything he wanted was there. He had a TV, they brought him food, Nobody likes being in hospitals. They're just, even the nurses are sweet and he's getting a lot of attention, no one likes being there. He just really wanted to go home. And so I thought about, okay, all the times that a guy wants to go home. And so I guess this is kind of the snapshot of a guy's life wanting to go home. Your eyes in the candlelight were talking all the way through the night. Been hours since we ordered. Do you think I'm being forward? If I ask you to take me home, 'cause I don't want to be alone. I want to feel your breath upon my neck. I want for you to hold, take me home. Yeah, take me home. The walls are closing in. With all this pressure, baby, I can't win. You're my refuge. Come and be, change my attitude. Won't you rescue me and take me home, 'cause I don't want to be alone. I want to feel your breath upon my neck. I want for you to hold, take me home. Yeah, take me home. They say there's not much they can do, so I lay with these wires and tubes, so far from home, stoned and alone. Won't you rescue me and take me home, 'cause I don't want to be alone. I want to feel your breath upon my neck. I want for you to hold, take me home. Yeah, take me home. Thank you. So, eventually, my dad passed away because no one lives forever, and he really tried. But you know, gone is not gone. I mean, gone is, whenever I tell a stupid joke, that's really coming from him. Of course, I didn't get his blue eyes. I didn't get his athleticism, although he really tried. Poor guy. But I've been hanging out with his grandsons, and we're there's a lot of him in us. There's a lot of him in the little kids' laughter, and he's still around. He left a long legacy, so this is one song I wrote. This is purely about him. Watch those pretty girls go by. One thing's for certain, Dad's a guy. But I could have been taller, been a better athlete. Instead I'm telling stupid jokes to everybody I meet. I've been this way since I was a teen. Still, these are my favorite jeans. Yeah, these are my favorite jeans. Been working on me since I was a pup, trying to teach me how to put the ball in the cup. He was proud of me even when I sucked. But life ain't like some big buffet, tall or short, straight or gay. You can't pick and choose your DNA, or else I would have been taller, been a better athlete, but still telling jokes to everybody I meet. I've been this way since I was a teen. Still, these are my favorite jeans. Yeah, these are my favorite jeans. I sit and think about it long enough, I won't have time for this song. Okay, I'll do a song. This is a song of the times. I don't think I really need, maybe I'll just do it. I was in quarantine when I heard the news on my computer screen that there was no more you. Wave came over me, a kind of a deep dark blue, like being down in a hole, jerk going over you. But I'm getting soft, my hair is gray. I love this life, but I remember the day we were young. We tore through this town, breaking hearts and emptying bottles. We made a name, breaking hearts and emptying bottles. Was a young man's game. An old photograph, yeah, it's been a while. See the light in her eyes, see the mischief in her smile. It's been years, but it's like you're still by my side, spending our money, spending our time on guitars, women and wine. But I'm getting soft, my hair is gray. I love this life, but I remember the day we were young. We tore through this town, breaking hearts and emptying bottles. We made a name, breaking hearts and emptying bottles. Was a young man's game. These days I've had to change my ways. That life was leading me to a grave, moved away from the old neighborhood. If I can do it over again with you, you know I would. But I'm getting soft, my hair is gray. I love this life, but I remember the day we were young. We tore through this town, breaking hearts and emptying bottles. We made a name, breaking hearts and emptying bottles. Was a young man's game. Now you all know my dad a little bit. He lives on.
Now's the fun time.
And thanks to the ACMA. What a great group.